Good morning and welcome to Today in L.A. My name is Mike Amos. His name is Bill Rice Jr. and the other guy's name is, they call him Forrest Lee. He's on our show today and our good friends. And how are things going, buds?
Good. Had a good birthday celebration at Elizabeth Fryer, my mother-in-law's, yesterday. Went swimming and ate too much cake.
It's complete to Frankie Fryer, and Frankie Fryer goes inside the 40 into the 37-yard line. Another first down and another catch by the youngster from Brundage.
He played all three sports at Brundage.
That's right, Frankie Fryer. He was a good one.
Speaking of Brundage,
hey, the guy that threw to him was a pretty good passer too.
Speaking of Brundage, yesterday I saw Randy Walls at a golf tournament. He teamed up with the Mob League guy that was the All-American at Troy for 4 years.
Did they win the tournament?
No, they finished second. They finished third. But yesterday at the Rotary Club of Brundage, I was invited to speak. And Brian McDaniels, I met him at the Rotary Club golf tournament that they have each year to raise money, for scholarships locally, and Cott Wallace was in there. And then I went one day when I wasn't working just to help them get started with pulling carts out, and I met Mr. McDaniel, so he had me on the docket yesterday to speak and saw.
What did you talk about?
Yeah.
Well, I did a brief sketch of my background, and he wanted me to talk about my show, and that's what I did, and had some good food from the Pig Cafe catered, and pretty good, and I enjoyed my time there.
That's a great civic club.
Good place to eat too, isn't it?
Well, we had it at the First Methodist Church in Brundage, and they brought it in. And
it was real good. And the Pig Cafe is located on South Brundage Street, right here in Troy. So it's I was out and about yesterday, and I got my hamburger from Birds. I tell you. Fresh hamburger meat. They give you a big old thick piece of meat on your hamburger. It's the best hamburger in the world, I tell you. It's a great hamburger with lettuce and tomato. Their lettuce and tomatoes always fresh too. And like if you got a salad, you're gonna get real fresh lettuce, and you're gonna get fresh tomatoes. And you can't ask for more.
Outstanding. Just fantastic. We're so lucky to have Bird Drugs in Pike County.
And today's National Egg Day, so get you some eggs from somewhere.
Oh, really?
National Egg
Day. They're going to give away eggs?
I don't know. When I was a little kid, I would go in the refrigerator, and if there was outdated eggs, I'd go outside to the carport and see if I could hit pine trees in the yard.
I couldn't find eggs over, I didn't like eggs over light growing up. I just didn't like them fried. But now that's the way I like them, and I like to go to Julia's and get eggs over light. And also what is the hamburger the shop over there in the shopping center?
Half Shell?
No. It's got it was first people that start giving you the little
Crystal?
Yeah, Crystal. And Crystal has a breakfast in the morning that you can't beat. 3 eggs overnight with grits and toast and coffee for $5, and it is a good breakfast over there at Crystal. But now I don't know. Crystal is scaring me. I'm afraid. The other day I went by there and didn't see any cars.
Well, I come by the country, from the country club yesterday. No, day before yesterday, and Santa Fe was closed.
I saw it too.
I guess their personnel's not showing up, but
oh boy,
we went to Montgomery, as mentioned.
It lacks. I'll put it that way.
To a birthday party and swimming party yesterday, and rode by my two old houses from Montgomery and Pike Road, and was on Zelda Road. I noticed that Wendy's that was on Zelda Road right there by I-85 closed, man. Nothing in there at all. They've taken the sign down. And then the Country's Barbecue that used to be there in the curve on Zelda Road has been raised, and there's now another restaurant right there that they built.
I hate to hurt y'all's feelings this morning, but another hamburger shop is going under in Troy. Did you know that?
No.
Hardee's.
Oh my God.
Really?
Hardee's. I mean, at least I didn't see any cars there the other day. Now they don't have many people there after noon, but they say that they make their business by breakfast, and of course it is delicious and everything. But from what I've gathered, what I've heard, this is just what I've heard, that they were going to shut their doors.
Man, Hardee's is the first franchise fast food restaurant that was on Highway 231. It was on Highway 231 before McDonald's. Now, I'm not talking about the Red Wave and the Double Delight that Mr. Noneman did, but these are just national chains. And Hardee's was the first chain restaurant in Troy, according to my research for a story I did.
What's happening with Hardee's?
According to your daddy, it might be closing its doors for good.
How in the world? It's like the number one breakfast place ever in Troy.
I know it. Maybe it's not true, but my brain found it somewhere.
Well, I'll tell you, it hadn't done much business as it used to in recent years and decades.
Well, usually they just need to shut down at 11 o'clock because
Really?
you don't see much
I
traffic
know it,
there
you're right,
after
you're
11 or breakfast time.
They actually have a good chicken sandwich. I always thought.
Yeah.
I mean, I had many of those during
Their
my
food
life.
is
Dad
good.
and I would go get 2 chicken sandwiches, a large fry, and a drink, and go to baseball games in Troy.
Yeah.
Oh, they changed their recipe and menu so many times, and I think they had it right in their heyday. And then for some reason they used to have roast beef sandwiches and chicken, and I don't know what happened to Hardee's, but
Only thing I can think is that is a really big piece of property, and that's some really nice real estate. So somebody's maybe just trying to sell it. I would think.
We don't know it for sure, and I could be wrong, but I heard it somewhere through the grapevine.
I used to have a lot of birthday parties there when I was a kid. They had a huge playground in the back at one time.
Yeah, I remember that playground.
That was our hangout back in high school. Everybody would meet in the Hardee's parking lot.
Really?
Yeah.
They didn't like it though, did they?
I'm sure they didn't like it. That's where everybody met up.
I can give some more info from my ride around in Montgomery and Pike Road. Pike Road's continuing to grow like a weed. Whole new subdivisions being built. Subdivisions that are already there are adding even more houses. We rode through my old neighborhood, and it's just got even more and more houses.
That's out toward Auburn, is that right?
Well, going toward, you just turn right on the
Union Springs and Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
Pike Road, and then Vaughn Road. You hit Vaughn Road, and I noticed that when you turn at the first light in Pike Road, right there at the CVS, where there's now a big Publix, Charlie Trotman has a sign, and his brother, I guess, are developing some kind of retail shopping center plaza right where that little green old house used to be, right across at that main corner. If you look, there's a pasture behind it, so it's a perfect spot.
Where is that now? Where's it located?
Well, you turn on Pike Road and you're going towards Auburn, and you're right there at Pike Road and Vaughn Road at the stoplight on your right.
Oh yeah.
There's a sign that says "Sold" and "Coming Soon" from Charlie Trotman, who is Bubba Trotman's son.
That's right.
So look for something, in the next year or so, right at that intersection.
What's the veterinarian that lives on that road that has all the beautiful horses?
Bartlett.
Yeah. They've got several ranches.
Oh boy, they got a lot of land.
It's like 3 or 4.
Let's see what Forrest Lee has to offer this morning.
Well, let's see. Hank Williams Festival will be in Georgiana this weekend. Morgan Brown from the Banks community will be performing, but it's Friday and Saturday. No, it's be this Saturday and Sunday, I guess. But Morgan Brown from the Banks community will be playing. Of course, he died at age 29.
Not Morgan, but Hank.
Hank Williams did. Hank, he was 29, I believe, when he passed away. But Governor Ivy has announced her campaign to be reelected in 2022.
She's running for reelection.
Wow, what is she going to be, like 80?
I have no
You know,
idea.
I used to work with her, Kay Ivy, and she's a sweet lady, no question about it. But if you had told me that Kay Ivy would have been governor of the state of Alabama back in the mid '70s, I would have fell out of my chair and I would try to get back in, and I'd fall out of it again.
Hold him up over there.
No way was that lady going to be governor of the state of Alabama. She's just a regular old person, and of course.
Is anybody running against her that we know of yet?
Well, let's name some others. If you would have said Guy Hunt, what was he, an Amway salesman?
I know, you're right. I wouldn't have thought that either.
And then what was about this Dr. Bentley?
Bear Bentley was a dermatologist.
That had no charisma whatsoever. I'm sorry.
It's amazing.
So anybody can be governor.
A girl from Troy is the one that got him elected.
Yeah, that's right.
And she was the one that kind of. She was not happy
Didn't
when
like
she
him
found
at the
out
end,
found out what he was really doing.
Yeah.
To her
They called
credit.
him Bear Bentley because he was Bear Bryant's dermatologist.
Well, you see that the Duke coach is retiring after 46 years, 41 at Duke.
What a career.
That's major news there. I mean, that's like a Bear Bryant or a Nick Saban retired.
Yeah, he's the guru of them all. No
Yeah, he
question.
coached at the West Point Academy, Army West Point Academy, for 5 years, I guess, before he went to Duke, and he's got an NCAA record of 1,170 victories.
Oh boy.
1,170.
Yeah, he played for Bobby Knight at West Point.
That's right.
Let's
Sure
think
did.
about our.
I'm on Zoom. Tell Steve if he wants to put me on.
Yeah, he's on Zoom. He's on Zoom, Stevie.
Let's go back and go through our governors from Wallace. You had Bob James, who was governor at least 2 times.
Brewer?
He was before Bob.
Okay, for 4 5. Okay.
But then you had Guy Hunt, who became governor in the weird set of circumstances, and he was convicted of something and removed from office, wasn't he? Then Bentley, then Siegelman just got out of prison.
I hated that about Siegelman.
No,
I think he got way too much, was punished way too much
I
for
do
what
too,
he
actually,
did.
too.
If you looked at what other people had done, the same thing and everything. And
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that take bribes and never even go to prison.
Yeah.
It was. I never got it
I
either.
saw where he's trying to get his law.
He got it back.
He got it back. He
I'm
didn't get
glad he
it.
got it back. You know, and I know, and I've known him quite a time, and he was one of the guys for a long time, and you know, there was a lot of you know, guys, Bill Baxley, and you know, a lot of good young.
Jerry
people.
Beasley
Jerry
was
Beasley
the
was a good one,
bright
yeah.
star for a long time.
Sure was.
I guess the biggest deal that time was when Braddock and Baxley ran against each other.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was
a big
huge,
race.
and they ended up beating up on each other, and neither one of them got it. And,
Well, what happened is they gave it to Braddock won, and then the Democratic Party went in and said that he won from crossover voting in the runoff, that more Republicans came over and voted, which might have been the case, but then a committee of Democrats overruled that election and said Bill Baxley was the winner. Bill Blunt, my friend that's from Troy, was one of the people on that committee that did that. And then to punish that committee for doing that, the state elected Guy Hunt, who was the first Republican governor, and Alabama had never even come close to having a Republican governor, and now we'll never have a Democratic governor.
Isn't Kay Ivey? Is she Republican?
Republican.
She's Republican.
And you know, Braddock, you've never heard from him again. I know he's from Mobile, and he's an attorney.
He's a
but,
judge, I think.
A
So,
judge.
so Jim Folsom Jr. was the interim governor for somebody, wasn't he? Was
Yeah.
he interim for Guy Hunt?
Yeah,
I think so. I
that's
think
how
so.
he got. That's how he ended up
And
how
what?
he
And
got
I
it.
don't know why he didn't stay, or did he get removed for some reason, or what?
No, he, you know,
I don't
it'd be
know.
good to bring Steve Flowers.
Paul Hubbard ran for governor a few times, didn't he?
Yep. Yeah, he was the former Troy superintendent.
Yeah, he sure was. My father-in-law was the one that hired him. He was chairman of the board of
Wow.
and he's the one that hired him a long time ago. I want to say this before I forget. Pike Liberal Arts played Mosley High School of Panama City, and they played them 4 different times, or three different times.
Mosley won the state championship, Pava.
And all right, and Pike Liberal Arts beat them in a regular game. I think our guy pitched, and they beat them 4-1, something like that. Mosley High School of Panama City recently has won the state championship in baseball for the state of Florida. And that'll tell you something.
A pretty
about
big
Pike.
in a big classification in Florida.
That's right.
And Pike Liberal Arts, this little private school, had 49 people in this graduating class.
That's right. That's right.
So we've been talking a lot about, can Pike Liberal Arts compete in the public school in Alabama? Yeah.
Congratulations, another big win for Pike Liberal Arts.
I found this out yesterday. There were several kids from Ayrton that played golf yesterday that are in high school. In the second round of the playoffs, they lost 2 starters to injury. The catcher tore his shoulder up and didn't play anymore. Their starting catcher.
That's important.
And another pitcher, big hitter, hurt his arm. So they lost
they weren't
2.
in full strength, were they?
No. Even, they lost to G.W. Long. Now, Long still may have beat them, but when you lose two players to injury. And,
it would tickle me for us to get a contact, like, what's my buddy from Lou Verne that calls now?
I like
Bud.
Bud, we love you, Bud, and we love to hear from you. And Bud is a great contact in Crenshaw County. But I would love
He knows his Alabama
I would
sports,
love
too.
to have a guy from Brantley to call in, a guy from
the mayor.
and we also want to.
What about Lake Martin? Are we up at Lake Martin?
Yeah, we're over Lake Martin. But
Goshen.
we also wish that we could hear from Arrington, and we could hear from Long or Skipperville. I'd like to have contacts with them because there's a lot of good sports.
I've heard a couple of players from G.W. Long are transferring to Pike Lib.
They really? I don't know.
One's their starting quarterback, and another one's a big lineman.
Oh no!
What I heard yesterday.
Oh God!
Well, keep it in family. If you work your family, you're out there working now.
Well, I'm not a recruiter, but I just plan on teaching first and then trying to implement archery second.
I like
But
this.
it's America.
Single out people.
Well,
I don't want to get into all of that.
If I told you,
it's not a far commute from G.W. Long to Pike Liberal Arts, is it?
if I mentioned
25 miles.
oh, excuse me. If I mentioned Danny Ainge, what would you think?
BYU,
BYU,
Boston
Celtics.
and he also played Major League Baseball for a little while.
That's right. You're exactly
They
right.
wear number
Rice.
44.
Rice, mate, we've turned Rice's computer on. It's going wild here.
He's going to be replaced.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Rice Jr., let me just tell you
He
a
just
little
played
bit
a
about him.
little.
He's born and he started getting to places when his dad, Bill Rice Sr.
Went to graduate from Charleston High School. The other day I made a post and I expounded on the scientific method. I explained exactly what it is and how you do it. You got to have a falsifiable hypothesis. And my wife said, "Where did you learn that?" And I said, "I learned it from 9th grade, Miss Vickers, biology at Charleston High School."
Let me ask y'all this, and we've talked about it before, and I'm talking kiddie stuff, ladies and gentlemen, this morning, but in the 4th grade, I had missed
They had Helen Law.
no, I didn't have her, but I had Miss Davidson for the 4th grade. And what she taught, and she taught it proudly, was the Audubon Society. Birds.
And you know your birds. It
I
stuck with
know
you.
my birds because
Of her.
of what I learned in the
Yeah.
4th grade.
Isn't that funny?
I can tell you a
funny,
mockingbird,
yeah,
a brown
I learned
thrasher,
my
a
birds
cedar
from,
waxwing, a squirrel,
I never learned them.
a sparrow.
I learned my birds from a sportscaster named Phil Snow.
Well,
Yeah, you loved them too.
But the thing about it, wasn't that amazing that you were able to take something you learned in the 4th grade, and I know birds a lot better than my wife knows them. She or a lot of other people, and a red-winged blackbird,
the introduction
cedar waxwing.
The introduction to the Canterbury Tales, which is told in this Old English. At one point, they taught it to everybody in Troy City schools because Dad learned it, in probably about 8th grade from somebody. And not only did he learn it, he's kind of like you with your birds. Whenever he had a chance later in life to show people he had learned it, he would just go right through it. But that stuck with him too.
Yeah. And it seemed like every year, she taught it to a class at Troy Elementary School, and they feel the same way I do. Anybody that feels that way, get on the phone and call us. The number is 670-0052.
I want to tell you who I bumped into. Speaking of education,
tell me you learned about the birds.
I met one of your buddies, saw one of your buddies, Dr. John Key, yesterday. We stopped at Costco on the way back.
The Fabulous Shades.
Yeah. Well, John Key.
I had a voucher, so I had to use it. I had some free money, and the whole Key family was in there.
Yeah.
Mrs. Key, who taught my Maggie 3rd grade, and then Little John and Dr. Key and his wife.
They moved back to Troy. John Key moved to Fitzgerald, Georgia for a long time, and they moved back to Troy.
And then they had just got back from Arizona to see their daughter, who I didn't know lived in Arizona. Said she'd lived in
California.
Dr. Key said she got out of California. California's got too crazy, and she's moved to Arizona. But they got one of her children, so they got a grandson, I guess, for a week or so in the summer, and I met him. So it's good to see the Key.
Something he does, and we were talking about today. John Key is a man of all trades, and of course he's the lead singer of the Fabulous Shades, a musical group, and they'll knock your socks off. They're really good. But he told me, I asked him, I said, "Are you enjoying living back in Troy?" And he said, "Well, if you think about waiting in line to pick up kids every afternoon, that's not what I do." And you know what? He goes sometimes and gets there at 3:30 or 2:30, and he doesn't even see anybody or doesn't even move until about 3 o'clock, 3:30.
Some people get there as early as 2, some 1:30. Just sitting out there.
And at one time he was superintendent of the schools, Dr. John Key, and a good.
Hey, don't y'all know who I am?
Now, one thing that I've always been concerned about when I taught over there, say at 2 or 2:30, you've got 50 to 100 cars circling on campus, on your property, and I think it's a safety issue. But where do you put them? But you got.
They all use cell phones and text and to try to expedite it, but sometimes it goes fairly fast, but sometimes it doesn't. You're right.
It's just with all those cars.
Why don't kids walk anymore? I used to walk every day from Crow Hill to junior high.
Oh yeah.
Well, some do.
Listen, he expected to be picked up by automobile every day.
I'm lying. We had carpool. I refused to walk.
I walked to school in Opelika.
And he didn't even have far to walk either.
Or I rode a bicycle to school.
Yeah.
If you had just cut a hole through the fence, we'd have drove our 4-wheelers.
And listen, if it didn't have a guy that riding a pony on his shirt, he wouldn't wear it.
I bet you walked to school or rode your bike.
I walked most every day.
Well, for one thing, everybody didn't have 2 cars like they do now.
Jamie Blackman picked me up and very nicely did that every day. And this was back in the high school. I didn't walk when I was in high school, but I walked a lot when I was in elementary school.
Well, you had community schools. You had 3 or 4 elementary schools throughout the city.
I'm gonna throw out some names. This is gonna be fun. We're gonna throw out some names today of people in Troy that we love to be around for a long time. O.W. Dotson. Have you ever heard of that name? All right, tell me about it.
I don't know. I just know. I remember.
O.W. Dotson was principal of the Troy Elementary School for years, and was a very good one. And he ran the. All right.
That was before my time, but
Miss Lamb. Miss Lamb. Have you ever heard of her?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Miss Lamb?
Well, this is not the two Dr. Lambs that were the eye doctors.
She was a great teacher, and she taught in the 9th grade and was a real good teacher. And
Francis Davis was the greatest librarian ever.
Francis Davis, the greatest librarian ever. And,
if you were a library worker with her, you had a good gig, which I was one of them. That was fun.
I was. She sent me to the principal a couple times, so I wasn't nice to her, but
when I was in 8th grade, it was Charles Bradshaw, Wes Gaylord, who was her nephew, and me. We had fun working for Francis.
How about William Davis? Remember him, don't you? Taught school for a long time, and a good friend of mine. And
James A. Baker.
Yeah, James A. Bakerfield. James A. Bakerfield. How many times? I told somebody else. He had gotten more exposure over the years than any man anywhere, because when I do those games, every time we come back from a break, I would say, back to James A. Baker Field on the campus of Charles Henderson Middle School.
And we need to get that gym changed to Whitey Whitman Gym. I told Candy we were going to do that for us, me and you, so we got to do it.
Yeah, name
his daughter.
Name it after James Whitey Whitman.
One of the best educators in the state of Alabama, who was for Pike County schools, I know, in Goshen, was Harold Bear Collins.
Oh, yeah. He was a superintendent of education for many years.
Then he was down there in Mobile, and now we have Cressel Threadgill, who's there, who started off in Troy.
You know, a lot of people don't
Harold Bear Collins.
Yeah, I want to continue this mention these people and let people know who they were. But Mr. Collins also teamed with a guy named Harold Freeman, and started a business in downtown Troy called Right Price Appliance Stores, and it was the first television I have ever seen was in the showroom of.
So Harold Freeman was in the TV business before he got in the cable business.
Oh yeah.
I'd love to have a black and white TV that worked.
It was an appliance store, and he worked on that thing. Harold Freeman was so hands-on. You know, have you ever seen anybody working on an old radio or something like that? And he would have a soldering thing, and it was amazing what he could do.
But he sold out his cable company. Was it called Troy Cable the first time he started it?
I don't know. But the first cable that came to Troy
was him.
With him, and then he lost it, and then came back and got it again.
Well, I think that they sold it, and then they had a non-compete for X number of years, and then as soon as that was over, he went right back and did it again.
Against a couple of people like Bill Chapman and people like that, pretty big
partners with
big
bunch
guys.
of them.
Yeah.
But somebody made a post. A friend of mine makes these great historic posts about things that happened on this date in history. The other day was CNN made its debut in 1980. Ted Turner starts this all-news network. We all remember it because Troy Cable had it. Now, I made the post. I said, I think that Troy Cable was one of the first cable companies to have the Ted Turner Superstation. Then they also had CNN right at the beginning.
They also used to have the Yankees network, too. We used to have that. You used to watch all the Yankees games.
Is there a news network now that gives just the news rather than a political view or a political bash?
I think they will tell me they watch Newsmax.
I've heard that.
I want to hear what's going on around the world and the country. I don't want to hear somebody bashing.
Yeah, I know.
And
there is no news station like you're talking about.
That's one-sided or liberal or politically correct or incorrect.
In the early days of Ted Turner's network, when we had a war, when the war started in Vietnam,
everybody watched.
And they were the leaders.
The Gulf War, when Forrest was over there.
Of that type of news, on the war in Vietnam,
Not Vietnam. He wasn't around then. It was.
Well, yeah, he was too, wasn't he? He was.
No, that was Vietnam. Was in the '60s and early '70s. This was
Walter
Ted Turner
Carter.
came out with CNN in 1980.
But boy, I tell you, they were hands-on, and it was sort of scary. It was sort of scary, the news that they would give you and everything. But
Ted Turner, so he started that 41 years.
What do you think here? You know, Troy has never had anybody in the College Football Hall of Fame. They have 3 guys as candidates on the upcoming ballot: Larry Blakeney, Al Lucas, and Freddie Thomas. Do you think Larry Blakeney will ever make the College Football Hall of Fame?
I don't know, but those are 3 good candidates. And
What about DeMarcus Ware?
Yeah, I know.
Well, I think DeMarcus Ware will once he goes in the NFL Hall of Fame next year. I think he'll end up winning the College Football Hall of Fame. That's usually the way it works.
He had a spectacular college career.
Did you know? Let me ask you.
Blakeney won 178 games, lost 113. He's the leading coach in Sun Belt history as far as wins. You know, he brought Troy from Division II through 1AA to Division I. So I mean, that's enough wins for sure. I would think to get to the Hall of Fame.
Well, look how many players that played for him and his staff in Shaughnessy that went to the National Football League. Yeah. We've been dry. Yeah. I mean, you know, not like they were putting them out.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, you mentioned something just then that rings a bell to me, and this is our Ring of the Bell show. But Shaughnessy, he's a man that has not gotten near the respect that he deserves as a coach at Troy, being the strength coach for all those years.
Yeah.
He knew the players a lot better than anybody else, and he knew what drives them and all that, and
he could get in there gruff in the off season.
And then in the pros, he was a great guy for our pro draft every year. He could get them ready, and he helped a lot of players get ready for the draft.
What's he doing now?
He's still over there. He's the strength coach for every sport except football.
I met Richard when I was working on my 6-year degree. He was in that program. Barry Hightower.
Yeah.
Big
From
pitcher.
Dothan, and, pitcher from Dothan.
Yeah, and that's where Richard's from too, I believe.
Yeah, he's from Dothan. Yeah,
and that's where I met Richard. Spent a lot of time, you know, in that area of weight training, and we'd go to his office and we'd get ready for class. And but I respect that.
I've had numerous conversations with him over the years, and I'll just tell you right
Mr.
now,
Business.
he's probably one of the unsung heroes of Troy's athletic.
I agree. He does, no doubt about it.
And you know, we might. You want to write something good about
that would be. Richard would be a fantastic.
His brother was a starting offensive lineman at Troy.
He
coaches somewhere in Florida.
It's crazy that there's 99 Division players candidates in the Hall of Fame class coming up. 99 candidates. Troy's got 3 right now, and Alabama and all their great history. How in the world does Alabama only have 2?
Yeah.
Of the 99, they have Sylvester Croom and Sean Alexander.
Yeah.
How many's Auburn?
You'd had to have been nominated as an All-American.
Yeah.
I am down on the College Football Hall of Fame. Got on my bad list because they blackballed Derek Thomas for about 15 years.
I wonder why.
And they got a pass. They finally put him in, but that is an outrage that they kept Derek Thomas from that Hall of Fame for so long.
His life is such a sad life, and boy, he was a great
he was one of my favorite players. I followed him all through his pro career too with Kansas City.
As far as a defensive player, you're hard pressed to find a defensive player in the history of college football that had a season as dominant as he had his senior year.
You know,
27 sacks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you something, Mike, that I really feel bad about. You know, I was tied up and I couldn't go see Ware at his deal he was at recently here in Troy, and of course he's here to advertise,
promote a fitness app or
fitness
something
program and all that. And in his conversation he said, "And Mr. Amos, is Mr. Amos here?"
No.
That happened in his thing, and I wasn't there.
Oh, dang it.
Well, anybody say Mr. Amos had a massive stroke, and we're just glad he's alive?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But you know what a great guy Ware is, and he represents the university so well.
Yeah, we knew he would, didn't we?
And well, you know, you ride down the.
Well, that's gotta make you feel good that the market still remembers you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, we were real close to the players back then, and you know, we used to always try to promote them as much as we could.
Well, that's why you need to be in the Troy Sports Hall of Fame.
Of course, we get the out here. We've got the new Athlon magazine, and it tells a lot about these different teams. Out of a 127, they say Troy is 110.
Oh my
Oh
gosh!
man, that's horrible.
Yeah, something like that.
127, and we lose some Division I teams. We used to have 129.
Yeah.
You know, in basketball, Coach Oates is trying to schedule Gonzaga, Houston, and Kansas for next year's schedule.
All right, ranking.
Go ahead.
Great team coming back.
Yeah,
I made a mistake. Troy's ranked number 106.
106.
And behind them are, you know, Georgia Southern, which I have a lot of respect for, Arkansas State, a lot of respect for, Southern Miss, a lot of respect for. They're ahead of those guys.
Well, we do have 130.
Where's Monroe?
Monroe is, you named it, buddy. Monroe
Who's
is
at the
number
bottom?
127.
Who's at the bottom of the list?
New Mexico State.
Okay.
And then UMass.
And I can't understand.
Terry Bowles way too good of a coach to have them at 127.
Yeah, but he's 130. ULM. I guarantee you he'll have the ULM playing well. The state of
He's got Rich Rodriguez as offensive coordinator. You don't think those guys can coach?
oh yeah, you're right.
You never know.
And they'll be better. And
Transfer portal.
They got Doug Dynasty giving them money. They got
Doug Dynasty gives them the money. That's right. They graduated.
Oh, let me tell you, just here, this is not in print, but I hear that. Well, I'll just hold
You're having a hard time getting this out.
No, I'll better
Well,
bite my tongue. I'll bite my tongue.
We've already said that Hardee's might be closing.
What do you
Well,
say?
I heard that the big running back out of Geneva,
Yeah.
Henderson, might go west toward Gulf Shores. That they're trying to
Oh, really?
get him at Gulf Shores High School.
Oh, okay.
They
Yeah,
already got the great running back from Alexandria they brought down.
I heard they're trying to get him.
The guy that just committed to Alabama?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the IMG Academy was going after
They're
him.
trying to
If
get
he
him to
didn't,
play
he
there.
ought to just stay where he is and go with
Why
it.
don't you just sit out the whole season?
That's what the
top
Texans.
running back in Texas is doing that. He's not even playing his senior year.
You know, Alabama has really gotten a lot of good players out of Texas recently, and you know, just think that big state of Texas, they could probably take care of every SEC school. Probably.
Waddle came from Texas, who was the number 6 overall pick. You know, I made the point yesterday that the Pac-12 was not what it used to be. Losing fan interest out there, and well, the top prospects in California aren't even going to the California schools. I mean, look at Najee Harris. Where did he go to school? Where is he from? Bryce Young. Where is he going to school?
California.
Where is he from?
Yeah.
Jonah Williams, the first-round offensive lineman, was from California, and they all went to Alabama.
Yeah. Well, just to tell you what the difference is, Louisiana, that's Louisiana Lafayette, is preseason ranked 23rd in the country, and right behind them, Coastal Carolina.
23rd? That's amazing.
Yeah, but then right behind them is Coastal Carolina, ranked 24th.
Man, how in the world did Coastal Carolina keep that young quarterback? I figured everybody in the country would have come and tried to get that kid.
I know it. Yeah.
Grayson McCall.
It's not over yet. You know,
Well, it might be this name, image, and likeness thing. Some
you-
businessman in that town might have said, son, we're going to give you a good little contract to endorse our car dealership.
You know,
You stay here.
I hate to even mention Marshall's name because I'm afraid somebody might call him up and say, Coach, I'm John Blow down here in Troy, Alabama. We got a guy y'all need to talk to about getting him to go to Alabama.
Yep, that's going on.
We sure don't want that to
I
happen.
can see Auburn way before Alabama.
Let's see it about it. Alabama. He's got Alabama 1, Clemson 2, Oklahoma 3, Ohio State 4, Georgia 5. Let me tell y'all something.
That's the usual suspects. You could just pick a year in the last 10 years and throw in those 5 teams, and that would be fine.
That's
I
also
know y'all. I'm
next
gonna tell you.
Next year.
I don't have near the respect for Clemson that I once. We just watching them.
Yeah,
They were not even. They weren't even a top 15 team this past year. Even with the quarterback, I didn't think they were that good.
Offensive line, defensive line weren't physical at all.
So we went to Cartersville, Georgia last weekend, and that is a beautiful downtown area, and they had his picture and likeness posted all over the place. Trevor Lawrence.
That's where he's from, Cartersville.
How big a town is that, would you say?
I don't know. It's bigger than Troy. It's got a railroad that runs right through it, all the time. It's got beautiful shops and coffee shops and cigar shops and antique stores.
Did you think their backup quarterback looked
Hurricanes.
good? Did you think their backup quarterback could survive?
At Clemson?
What's his name? DJ
Clemson. Yeah,
Yeah, he could be good.
He's a big Samoan guy. He's 6'6", 240 pounds.
Oh God, he's a Samoan guy. Wait.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting to see when Auburn starts camp. I mean, Bo Nix has never been under this kind of pressure. To have TJ Finley coming there, even though Finley didn't put up great numbers, he's a big-time, recruited quarterback and, had flashes at LSU. I wonder if that's going to make Nix better or make Nix worse.
What, did they run him much down there?
I'm going to tell y'all not going to like this.
He started 5 games at LSU this time.
No, I don't think he was.
Y'all are not going to like this, but I'll tell you who the number 1 team in the nation is. Oklahoma, without a doubt. With Spencer Rattler leading the offense. I'll tell you what, Oklahoma can beat Alabama. They can beat them. And I'm looking down here, and I don't think Ohio State can. I don't think Georgia can. I don't think Clemson can. But I think if anybody could beat Alabama, it'd be Oklahoma with Spencer Rattler.
Oklahoma.
Man. See, I feel like Alabama's finally going to have a defense this year that we've been waiting on for about 4 or 5 years.
I know. Where's the defense gone?
Yeah, I know exactly. We hadn't talked to this guy lately. I don't know what's wrong with him, but this guy wants to talk about the Crimson Tide of Alabama as they get ready for the 2021 football season. We got Bill Rice and we got. As far as Lee and all the boys here on our show, you'll be hearing from Big Al many times during this college football season. And look out for Oklahoma.
We're going to take a break.
We'll be back after these messages.
Right now, you can join Planet Fitness for no enrollment, $10 a month, no commitment. We're keeping things squeaky clean with tons of equipment and plenty of space to spread out while you work out. And check out the crowd meter in our free app to pick the best time to visit. Don't wait. Join the judgment-free zone today for no enrollment, $10 a month, no commitment. Join in club or at planetfitness.com.
Planet Fitness is open in Troy. Join now for 0 enrollment and $10 a month. Hurry deal ends June 8th.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
May is Military Appreciation Month here at Bondi's Enterprise Toyota. Come share our love for our military with our annual Make Us an Offer sales event and get NADA retail value for your trade. Every new vehicle comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty. Shop us online at bondistoyota.com.
May is Military Appreciation Month here at Bondi's Enterprise Toyota. Come share our love for our military with our annual Make Us an Offer sales event and get NADA retail value for your trade. Every new vehicle comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty at Bondi's Enterprise Toyota.
Spirit tested their second sample negative. Bob Baffert, 2
positive
years out. Oh, we're back. We're back, Mike.
We're back on
back on our show.
We were talking about Oklahoma, where
they're pretty good down in country Florida too. My good friend Scott and Lana Hartley, they've got it. Of course, they've got best price on grills you'll find anywhere. is right here from.
You know, their daughter
Have you
Becca.
been to Oklahoma before?
Oh yeah,
I
I've been
have.
to Oklahoma.
Fort Seal.
Do y'all see me? I'm on.
Yeah, no beard too.
Well, you got a little bit of one coming
Well,
back.
I'm gonna tell you, when I went to Oklahoma, and it's because my aunt and uncle lived in Dewey, Oklahoma, right next to Bartlesville, and that was my when I was a kid.
Well, Troy has never played Oklahoma. We played Nebraska many times.
You're right. Nebraska players.
We need to schedule Oklahoma.
That's right. And
Hey, yesterday, Mike, I met someone who knew you. You remember Mrs. Bobby Sexton that you went to visit?
yeah.
She
Bobby
and her
Sexton was a
husband
good
came
friend
and played
of mine.
golf yesterday.
Well, I tell you what,
He
I
plays
love
and she walked with him. They walk.
Well, let me tell you about him. He's a big Troy fan. They married after Bobby died, and
What's his name? I forget.
I know him well, and I can't think of it, but he's been a big contributor to Troy's football program for a long time, and he loves Troy football.
Well,
Good.
they
Thank you.
get out and walk the course.
Yeah,
Good
oh, yeah.
exercise.
They sure do.
And they're great.
Do a lot of people walk?
Had probably 12 or 14
How
walkers
much
yesterday.
you charge them a quarter?
$12 to play if you walk.
No, I'm joking. That's the wall.
$12 to walk and play
Yeah.
9 holes.
Yeah.
I can't believe somebody named Mike Amos.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
In every town in Alabama, somebody knows Mike Amos. Probably in Oklahoma, somebody knows Mike Amos.
You know, I'll tell you this, something that I do like doing. I like to know where somebody's from. Now, usually, if their name's just out there, that's nothing to me. But if his
Guten
name,
Morgen, you're on
if
Today
the
in
name
LA.
has a hometown, I
Will Matthews.
Will.
Hey, Will.
Will Matthews, won't you please come home?
I'm asking everybody that
The
calls,
Memorial.
have you ever been to the state of Oklahoma?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I'm
He
the only
played-
one.
he
I've
played-
never been.
All right, what did he play golf or what?
No, I took a deposition in Oklahoma City, and it was kind of interesting. I was there September 11th, 2001,
Wow.
Okay, that is interesting.
Oh boy.
and I flew in there, Mike, and guess what? I
Yeah.
couldn't get home.
Yeah.
And and the people I was doing, it was the Williams Company. It's a big oil corporation. I was doing a deposition for, and they arranged a driver that drove me back to Dothan.
Gosh, that was a long drive.
Let me ask you something. I've never asked you this before. Do you do a lot of business with the military when you're in your law practice?
Oh Lord, yes. I would say we handle probably 100 divorce cases a year, and probably 30 of them are military.
Golly. Well, I know that's what you specialize in, and
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Did it matter whether you're recognized or you're serving the male or the female in your practice?
I do both. Now there are some lawyers that do exclusively male.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lady in Montgomery, and I think she's got an office in Troy and Enterprise. She just represents men.
Yeah. And I reckon she
Was
doesn't.
the senior PGA in Oklahoma somewhere? A legendary course? Yeah, yes. It was at Southern Hills, which is outside of Tulsa.
That's where they're gonna play it next time.
Hubert Green won that, didn't he?
Yeah, good. Look at Michael.
Hubert won the U.S. Open there. And is that where you got death threats in the last round?
Yeah.
You never heard that before in your life, a golfer getting death threats.
What you mean, Hubert Green got death threat? Who got death threat?
Hubert
Hubert
Green, they phoned him, and they felt like they were credible. And Hubert, he had the option to stop playing and come back the next day, and he said nope. And he walked around with 2 police officers next to him the whole round.
Oh, he got a kick out of that, yeah.
What was the issue?
I don't know how you get a kick out of it.
Yeah,
What's the issue?
Well, I tell you, that's just the kind of guy Hubert Green was. Hubert Green was
It's kind of a little different.
You're right. That's right. He rode in on
He was a military guy, wasn't he?
what?
Yeah,
Huey
he won
Green?
a lot of golf tournaments too.
Oh yeah.
He could be hot. I remember one time he won 3 tournaments in a row.
Yeah, I always like to watch him. You know, he and you correct me if I'm wrong. His hands were real close to the ground. Did you ever notice when he played? He was
Very unique swing.
Yeah, it was. Could you tell me about that swing?
Well, he kept his hands real low, and when he took the club back, he took it outside and came inside with it, and he hit a pronounced hook.
Yeah.
Every shot he hit was a hook.
Yeah.
And, like Trevino's just the opposite. Every shot Trevino hit was a cut shot, left to right shot.
Yeah.
What do most golfers play? Jack Nicklaus played a fade, didn't he? Mostly.
Jack Nicklaus could do both, but he predominantly his tee shots were left to right tee shots.
You know, he was recruited to play.
Huey Green's a World Golf Hall of Famer. He won 19 times on the PGA Tour and won 2 majors.
Right.
He was recruited to play basketball at Florida State by Hugh Durham.
Yeah.
What this is?
Oh, really?
Out of high school.
Well, he's
So he's a good athlete,
from
then.
Birmingham.
Yeah.
What school in Birmingham did he play?
I couldn't find.
Shea Valley.
But he was now. I will tell you about it. He was a uppity Birmingham country club guy.
Was he rich from a rich
Yeah, I
family?
think he was.
Lived in Mount Brook.
He lived in Mountain Brook. That's where my children live. Mountain Brook.
I wonder if he's got any family that still lives there. I bet he does.
His father was a doctor up there.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
That's right. That's
Well, golf is a rich man's sport for the most part. Lee Trevino wasn't from that background.
when you were growing up.
Guess what Hubert Green did during Vietnam? He was in the Army.
Yeah.
Army Guard.
Yeah, you said it. You told us he built a course in the Wiregrass somewhere, didn't he?
He built the Enterprise Country Club is what he did when he was in the National Guard.
Yeah.
Enterprise, Alabama.
Did he have a high ranking in the guard?
I doubt it, but
Yeah.
It kept him out of Vietnam.
When you were growing up, were there a lot of guys like you that played golf in Ozark?
Oh yeah.
You mean like when you went to the club, was there always somebody to play golf with?
Oh yeah, there'd be 30, 40 people playing every.
I mean, a lot of young guys though, a lot of young people.
Not really.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
There were not growing up in Troy. I played golf, and Charles Bradshaw played golf, but there was not many young golfers our age that played. You know, age 10 to 17 regularly. Which is strange because Troy is known for great golfers, and then they pick up the game, but they didn't pick it up when they were juniors. I guess they were all playing.
You knew who
Brundage did.
You knew who Warren
Brundage. The
Hanchy.
Brundage was
Yeah.
different, yeah.
You knew who Warren Hanchy was and Dave O'Neill.
That was there before my time, but you're right. The Warren Hanchy and
Mike,
Yeah.
one of the greatest rounds I ever saw played in high school was by a guy that was not a, really legendary golfer from Troy.
Warren Hanchy.
Jimbo Walker.
No. It was a guy named Hunter Hanson.
Oh, Hunter Hanson.
And Hunter Hanson on 9 holes shot a 29.
Oh God, Hunter works
Gene's
for
son?
the city. He works for the
Gene's
city.
son, yeah.
Y'all know Hunter,
Yeah.
and that surprises me.
He's about 6'4", 6'5", isn't he?
Yeah, and I knew he was a good golfer, but I didn't know he was that kind of golfer.
And Michael, they had a hole that was probably 300 yards long, a par 4, and Hunter Hanson hit it over the trees. It was a dogleg right. Hit it over the trees on the green, a foot from the hole for a gimme.
That's great. I hope Hunter watches this today because that's great.
He almost hit a hole in one on the par 4. I mean, how rare is that?
I saw
You know,
Eric Ernsberger do it.
His
about
daddy
6
was
months
a
ago,
well-known
Brundage.
teacher at Troy.
He told us that,
Dr. Hanson was a
Gene
well-known
Hanson.
PE instructor at Troy.
Played at Jack State.
And he played at Jack State.
Mike, I have a trophy in my house. It's the Ozark Country Club Invitational.
Yeah.
Warren Hanchy's name's on it twice.
Yeah. Oh, Warren Hanchy was from Troy, and he could hit it a long ways. Did you ever notice how far he hit it?
Well, I won won it when I was 16, 17, and 18 and retired the trophy in my living room.
How many? I bet you got a lot of trophies, Will.
What's the one? What's the one you're most proud of?
Well, I've retired 2 Ozark Invitational trophies. One sits in my office, one sits at home, but I had numerous trophies my ex-wife threw in the dumpster
Well, I got a personal question to ask you. When you played golf all your life, did you ever have any alcoholic beverages?
I don't drink, Michael.
Have you ever drank?
That never was an issue with you later in the round, having 6 beers.
No.
I've never drunk on the golf course. Now, I've had a beer or two, at the beach, something like that, but never played golf. I never drank on golf.
Did you ever meet Jimbo Walker?
I know Jimbo Walker.
That played
in Florida.
Michael, I've never smoked a cigarette in my life. I'm 64.
You've never smoked a cigarette?
Wow.
Not
That's
one.
great.
And I'll tell you why. My daddy was a big smoker.
Yeah.
And when I turned 16, he said, son, if you'll promise me you'll never smoke, I'll give you $2,000.
How about that?
I said, you got a deal. So he went back to go get his checkbook. I said, I want cash. I want $2,000 cash.
Oh, God.
So he took me to the Bank of Ozark. He went through $2,000 in cash, and I took $1,500 of it to the Chevrolet place and bought me a car with it. And I took the other $500 and I kept it.
All right, well, yeah, you bound to.
And you were faithful to what you told your daddy. That was the best $2,000 he ever spent.
It was, and I've never smoked a cigarette, not even one.
Of course, let me mention a little bit about you. Of course, your daddy played was a cheerleader at the University of Tennessee, and he was at Fort Rucker, and he met your mama, who was a let's see, what was her maiden name?
She was a school teacher, but she played the organ in the Methodist Church for 50 years down there.
Yeah, but
boy, if she could play the organ, a church organ.
Yeah.
Those people are in demand, from what I hear, because there's not many that can still do it.
But let me.
Bill, she played for, and they've looked this up. She played for almost 800 funerals in her lifetime and 300 weddings, and about 3,000 church services, and she never charged a penny for any of them.
Oh my gosh, amazing!
Wow. And she, what was her maiden name?
Carol.
Carol. See, she was a Carol from old.
Her daddy was, the high school was named after her dad.
Yeah. And that Carol name is like Henderson in Troy. It carries a little bit of influence. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, used to. Yeah.
All right. Now, when you were growing up, though, and your daddy, now they said your daddy was a real competitive golfer. Could you beat your daddy back then?
You know what? After I turned 16, he never beat me until he died. The many rounds we played, hundreds of rounds together.
Yeah, I mean, y'all were.
How old were you when he died?
Let's see, he was 71, so I was 46, I think, 45.
Well, the main thing is he knew that you never started smoking, so that's good.
But, the thing about him, a father-son, you're a great example of a father-son combination playing golf, because y'all went all over the southeast Alabama and around playing on the same team.
You had those memories together for all this.
And I've told you this before, Mike, but we won Troy several times.
No, I know it, yeah.
But one time we were playing in Troy, and that was back when number 1 and 2, which is now 10 and 11, were par 5s. And we had started on that little par 3, which was number 3 back then.
That's right.
And we were finishing up on 1 and 2, and we were 2 under par. And he said, now, son, you don't need to birdie these last 2 holes, because we'll get in the bottom of the A division and we'll be screwed in the tournament.
and then also you were going to bid on your team,
Oh, yeah.
You're in the Calcutta.
And I said, well, let me tell you something. I'm going to try to do the best I can, and if you don't like it, then you can get you somebody else to play with next year. So number one, I hit my second shot left of the green. It's a very small green, and I had a really hard pitch shot, and I decided I was going to putt it from about 15 yards off the green because I just could not, if I pitched it, no way I could keep it on the green.
Mm-hmm.
I putted it in the hole for an eagle, and then the next hole I knocked the iron shot in there about 2 feet for another eagle. So we finished eagle and ended up 6 under and wound up winning the tournament the next day.
You know, that was that one that number 2 hole was the hole that had the big oak tree. You know, you had to, when you stepped up there, you had to either say you're going to drive the oak tree or you're going to hit up short. You know.
Yeah, if you got on that hill, it rolls.
Oh, that's right. If you went over on that green, you were in trouble. I'll tell you that.
Right.
It's a par 4 now, I think.
But you know, one of these great joys though that you had in camaraderie that you had with your dad.
Mm-hmm.
You were close to your dad, weren't you?
Oh yeah.
But he also was an outstanding lawyer. Now, was he a trial lawyer or what?
He represented insurance companies mostly.
Yeah.
He was a defense lawyer.
He does what Calhoun and Falk do today. Is that right?
Yeah, that's what he did, and when he became a judge, and he decided he wanted to be a judge the last part of his life, so he ran for judge and got elected twice.
Yeah.
And I never did defense work. I just did not, I didn't like it.
Yeah. You know, Calhoun, I know there's a lot of.
This would be a great question for Will. Will, what are your top 5 courses in the state of Alabama?
Michael, that's pretty easy, but I would say my number one. You would not believe this one. It's Kiva Dunes it's down around Orange Beach.
I've heard that. Yeah.
I've heard that. I've seen it. Yeah.
And there's a course in Bruton that is a very good course.
You know, that's the one that Dr. Joe Frank Terrell helped build from Greenville.
That's a great course.
Yeah.
Then you got Birmingham Country Club and Shoal Creek. Those are the 2 best ones in Birmingham. But I think the best course in the state is Turtle Point in Florence.
Yeah, I've heard that before. I've heard you mention it.
A lot of people like old Overton in Birmingham. A lot of people like Limestone Springs in Aniana.
I've never played either one of those.
Yeah.
Those 2 came along after I played.
Well, you know, these Trent Jones courses have to be.
Which is the best one on the Trent Jones Trail that you've played?
I'll tell you, the one in Birmingham's really good. The one they used to have the senior tournament there.
Ross Bridge.
Ross Bridge. Yeah.
I think that one, and I'll be frank with you, the one in Greenville is really good too.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I mean, I played that one more than any of them.
I play the one in Greenville a lot.
And it gets so little traffic, it's amazing. But it's a beautiful course.
I see somebody trying to.
Somebody else has an opinion on golf course in Maryland.
Hello, how you doing?
Well, Will, I want to go and just ride in the cart with you for 18 holes and watch you play. I know you don't hit it as far as you used to, but.
All right, that's what happened to. That was what was ringing. Hey, this is what a
no, he's still in there.
This is what a Will Matthews looks
where's
like.
Michael?
Oh wait.
Y'all see what that
Michael, you
Will
still
Matthews looks like?
Yeah, I'm on.
Remember that?
I got a Will up close and personal with you this morning, Mike.
He's zooming too.
What are you doing? You FaceTiming Will?
Yeah.
No, I don't remember. My phone started ringing. My good friend Will Matthews, ladies and gentlemen, he's a sharp dude. I like that goatee, man.
I'll tell you, it's been fun to get to know Will on this show because I was a fraternity brother and pledge brother with his baby brother Warren.
Do you hear that? Will?
We've got a celebrity coming to Dublin this afternoon at 5 o'clock.
Who's that? Oh, is it? He's gonna speak. Yeah, he's gonna speak.
Are y'all gonna put Will back on the line?
You know, Will, it was sort of sad at one time. I remember the Ozark Country Club, and then it went under, and y'all went without a country club for a long time, didn't you?
No. We built a new one.
I know, but you didn't have one for a while though, didn't you?
No, we've always had one. One time we had two.
Yeah.
We were building the golf course at the new country club, and we played golf at the old one, and then we drive over to the
We're
new
picking that
country
up
club.
there.
Yeah.
Well,
Can we call back in? I'll call back in.
Well, you can say
No,
right
we
here.
enjoyed
We can
it.
hear you right
Yeah.
here.
I don't know if they can hear him out there, though.
I can hear you. Well, the country clubs. I wonder how long Troy has had his country club. That's a
long time.
When
long
you were a
time.
kid, they had
It
it.
was probably back in the early 40s. Late
My
40s.
daddy, Jimmy Klaus, who just passed away about a month ago, and my daddy were friends. And there was no golf course in Ozark back in the 50s. And Jimmy Klaus invited my daddy to go to Troy and play golf, and he learned how to play golf in Troy. And then they built one in Ozark.
Yeah.
They built a 9-hole course.
Is that the state senator's father that died?
Right. The representative.
Yeah,
Steve Klaus.
But
Steve Klaus's daddy.
yeah.
I can tell you a little country club story. I lived in Opelika, and you wouldn't think we were a country club family back then at that point in my dad's life, but for some reason Dad was able to keep us in the Saugahatchee Country Club in Opelika, and I just loved it. I mean, I spent my whole summer at Saugahatchee Country Club, but it was the original one by the airport, and then they built the new one that they're in right now. And I got about a year at what I call the new country club, which is now probably 45 years old. But man, and then it was half Opelika people and half Auburn people, and then
I think the old one's still there, and I think the city owns it as a public course.
yeah, people still play it. It was a nice course.
Let me ask this: were you playing golf when the great big three out of Enterprise was playing?
They're older than I am, but you're talking about Mickey Red, and you're talking about Bill Brunson.
Yes.
And what was the other guy's name? He played at Auburn. Tom Cox.
Tom Cox. Those three guys growing up in Enterprise on the same team that was a good group, wasn't it?
And Mickey and Tom are dead, but Bill's still alive, but he had to quit golf because of his back.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, Mickey Red was a great athlete. We started talking about great athletes. Two names that I would have to mention would be Mickey Red in all sports. He was a great basketball player and a great football player, and he signed a scholarship to play football at Troy. But he was a great golfer.
And Mickey Red's name's on that trophy in my living room at home.
I got you.
He won the Ozark tournament back in the 60s.
Yeah, and then the other one would be be Joe Frank Terrell from Greenville. Dr. Joe Frank Terrell played golf and played tennis. He played at Alabama. Played golf at Alabama. But he was a great all-around.
I'm
athlete.
trying to think of the best all-around athlete that starred in 3 sports. Now I can think of a lot of people that were starred in 2 sports, but then I can think of a couple of people that played 3 sports.
Troy
but I can't.
John Johnson was the last three-sport star at Charles Henderson.
And he was a star in all. He was a star in every one of them.
He was starting point guard on the basketball team, starting center fielder, and running back, wide receiver, phenomenal football player.
There's
I
no.
know.
Well, he's the best probably then right there.
Hey, Wilbur Jackson was a great baseball player, track and football when he was at Carolina. He never played basketball. But he was a real good track and baseball and football.
Coach, you missed out on the Andrews and Knowles. Billy Knowles and Mickey Andrews, boy, were 2 great athletes out of Carolina, Ozark.
Oh,
And then the
Hey, Will, how's your son-in-law? Is he enjoying working for Tuberville?
He does. He does. Really does. And he's doing a great job for him.
is his office gonna be in Washington or where?
No, he's in Mobile. Now, he was working for the last 6 years for Senator Roger Wicker of Mississippi. And so, anyway, Coach hired him. Well, when Coach went in, he hired him to run the Mobile area. So it's about 10 counties down there in that part of the state.
I think that was a great move by Tuberville to run for office, and I think he's going to enjoy it.
He's got 6 years.
Yeah.
And
Hey, and I think that didn't you predict that this girl from the BCA would run for Shelby's spot? And I see that she just resigned at the business council.
Her name's Brett.
Bill, she's been running.
Okay.
well, who is going to run and win? Who do you think will take that spot?
They say Mo Brooks is
Mo
probably
Brooks
gonna win.
from Mo Brooks from softball fame. Is that right?
Yeah, he was there when the shooting happened. He helped try to save their lives as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back with Today in L.A., brought to you by A1 Services, Terry Rhodes.
That Will, you're on the air. We're looking at you right now on your.
This is my chart from Southeast Health.
And you're going to want to make it yours.
Not because it's free,
But because it's priceless. Because with my chart, you can schedule appointments online with your provider.
You can email your provider and get answers. Get test results.
refill prescriptions.
And manage your family's health care.
You know how you all want healthcare to be easier?
But no one seems to listen?
Well, someone did.
Southeast Health.
To get your free My Chart app, visit your app store or go to southeasthealth.org.
I slipped for a 20 on the way out.
Oh, did you really?
All right.
Barney, what are you doing? You've been looking for a sale. I'm going to give you one. We got one open. Barney, it's not a jail sale. It's called a car sale. 0% financing for 72 months. Discounts over $15,000. Killing the competition. $5,000 over Kelly Blue Book for any old trade. Hey, and it's not illegal to kill the competition. That's another charge. Folks, just go to PremierChoice.com. That's where you'll find all the deals. I'll see you soon. No, you ain't. You're going to be in jail. Barney!
Nobody beats a Premier deal.
Nobody!
When it comes to surgery, precision is perfection. The very latest technology available ensures the best possible outcome. The Mako Robotic Arm-Assisted Surgery System is now available at Troy Regional Medical Center. Skilled orthopedic surgeon Dr. Robert L. Liljeberg and his team provide patients with faster recovery and better movement after a knee replacement surgery. When accuracy matters, you deserve the very best. Troy Regional Medical Center.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
And they're telling how many cop cars, and they all have their guns drawn to the woods.
Oh my God.
Oh,
We're
man,
live.
that'd be scary.
Yeah, but it's a good story though.
That's
Go
our
ahead and
show,
tell us
brother.
again. Tell us what happened, Michael. We're on there now.
Well, now, I mean, there was like a manhunt going on for two suspects that carjacked a car in Panama City Beach, and then they were, I guess, fleeing the police, and it went from Bay County to Walton County. So I was leaving one of my accounts yesterday, and I get on 98, I see about 14 police officers, and probably 10 police officers pointing their guns towards the woods. So apparently once they put the spikes out, the car wrecked into the state forest, Point Washington, and they still have not caught these two guys. So they're still on the loose down here in Point Washington through the woods is 238. So interesting to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, there's all kind of.
But they say they're armed and dangerous, and have been stealing cars from Tennessee all the way down to Florida.
Oh my God.
Oh boy.
I don't know. It might be just me, but it seems like there's a lot more crime weird crime stories these days than there used to be.
Shooting.
Oh yeah, well
Yeah, just shooting a lot of people or
I want
murder
to say
suicides.
people are more desperate, but at the
Yeah,
time,
I think it is part of it.
Can you imagine though, like you're on vacation, you're all carefree, you know, you don't really pay attention to much, and you got two guys. They brought in you know, the hound dogs and brought in helicopters and everything, and they still ain't caught them yet.
Oh me,
They'll catch them.
let's be pros. I tell you, it's a lot going on.
If I see two guys running down the street on the middle of the show, maybe I can give us some breaking news.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's fun to talk about these different athletes, these golfers, and these people in South Alabama, and you know, every town. That's something I feel like that I can do that a lot of people can't do. Is I can mention you mention the town, and I'll mention you 2 or 3 or 4 athletes that came out of that town. Because I was growing up, I was conscious of who Troy played, and you know, and the different athletes in different parts of the state, and it was a lot of fun. I used to enjoy doing it.
You know, I made a post about Nick Saban's greatness, but I say it's explained largely by the fact that he's a great recruiter, but he recruits nationally. And the more I thought about it, I started thinking about, you know, Coach Bryant was equally great, in my opinion, but he did 90% of his players came from the state of Alabama, and they came from these little towns like Excel and Dozier and Troy, and Ozark.
Most colleges probably did the same thing.
They had to. They didn't have the budgets or the media exposure, and so you had to take the players that were within a couple hours of your college and then make them winners.
You know, back when I was growing up, and
that's a different type of coaching than what Nick Saban does. I mean, it's a little easier to win when you got Najee Harris and Tua Tagovailoa playing for you.
You got those blockers up front
you got to look at eras. I mean, the athletes today are you know, so much more advanced and stronger and more physical and faster than back then. I mean, everybody's got, you know, speed now. Everybody's got good athletes. It comes down to coaching when it's all said and done.
Well, you got to get the players, and then you got to develop them, which Saban's done both. Which a lot of people get the 4 and 5 stars, and then they don't pan out. The teams don't do well, but
your dad had to be an extraordinary athlete and an amazing player, because back then they had 150 guys on the roster.
Yeah, that's a good point too. I mean, they only played about 30 guys in the game because they played both ways. So you're right that they had a ton of players on the team, and then only very, very few played.
The national.
Well, let me tell y'all this, and you might not know this, but it's a fact. Probably the best overall athlete that ever came through Troy, Alabama, was a guy named Ronald Giddings.
I've heard
he was
that.
a great basketball player. He was a great baseball player. He signed a pro contract, and he was a great
baseball, football, and basketball.
Yeah, football, great quarterback in football. Ronald Giddings, one of the great names in Troy high school history. You know, you mentioned Enterprise, and this is because I'm a guy, I'm a young boy growing up, going to ball games if I could, and reading the newspaper and so forth. I read the paper every day to find out about a lot of these people. But Enterprise, I could probably name you 25 great athletes that came out of Enterprise. Ozark, I couldn't name it. I could name you a lot of great athletes. And the Greenville and Andalusia, and you do those.
You can
do those. I could probably name you 10, 15 athletes that played back in the heyday.
You remember Galen McCullough? Was he
Sure did. The Dr. Galen McCullough from Enterprise, and we could go on down the list, you know, of great athletes came out of Enterprise. They had great football teams in the '60s, and their coach Morris Higginbotham wouldn't even let them drink a Coca-Cola. And I thought it was all awful that they sort of stood out when they come play some basketball, because they bring all these young, you know, you've got the B team, the varsity, and the junior high team to play. You didn't have girls athletes back then, and Enterprise just and I never could get over it. That kid can't drink a Coca-Cola. His coach won't let him.
Was that what, did Columbus Patman catch the duck in Greenville or in Enterprise?
In Greenville.
Greenville.
Did in Greenville. I was there as a young kid.
True story.
That Pete Fair gave a ride to the ball game. A lot of people know who Pete Fair was, and what a great guy. Another great athlete back in the in the '60s was Ronnie Lindsay. He was a great pitcher, excellent left-handed pitcher, and he played basketball and football. Very good in all three sports.
Well, Michael named the kid. He was after my time. Not only did he play all three of them at Charleston, it sounded like he was very, very good at all three of them.
No.
Oh yeah, he was.
Yeah, I mean, John Johnson's got to be one of the greatest athletes ever at Charleston.
That's right.
He might be the
he
best.
probably didn't give him near as much credibility as he deserved, but at the same time, and I say this, I think the best quarterback that's ever played at Charles Henderson is Ingram. He was Austin Ingram. Is that right? Yeah, Austin.
They've had some good ones, boy.
Austin Ingram was a great quarterback.
You know that Stevens kid that played with Will
Corey
Jones.
Corey Dennis was a good quarterback, but he could not. He could run better.
He couldn't throw. That was the problem. He couldn't throw, but he could run now, and he was a good athlete. But Austin Ingram was. He could throw it. He could really throw it.
Yeah.
Now Al Head would probably be the next one I would think about. And of course, he played in the '60s and mid to late '60s.
Played at Troy.
At Troy, and he was an old Troy boy.
I played with two that were Kyle Ingalls and Ed Black. Both were quarterbacks, and they and Kyle played linebacker too. And then they were both fantastic baseball players too. But you know, that's two examples of two guys that played football and baseball. But none of them played basketball.
I'll tell you one thing. You mentioned Kyle Ingalls. You know what I mentioned? What I think about the first thing? Tough, really tough.
Oh yeah.
He was a hard-nosed football player.
He was big and started as linebacker for 3 years, but he could play quarterback and play baseball at Auburn with Bo Jackson.
All right, let's see.
His sister's got a pro baseball player.
We have one more coach that needs to be hired. Is Dale County hired a coach up?
Say that one more time.
I don't see Dale County. Have they hired a coach yet?
Dale County hired their football coach yet. Their coach went to Goshen.
I have not heard of that. I haven't heard of they've hired anybody. It's sitting in the Dothan paper today.
Tomorrow,
guess they're looking for that.
We're gonna do something tomorrow. Like I'm gonna throw out the name Ole Miss. Then you name it. You pick the first name that comes to mind, and then we're gonna
Archie Manning.
We're gonna go all the way. That's right. Go all the way down.
Let me name one. Nebraska.
Johnny Rogers.
Johnny Rogers is a great one.
Ohio State.
Ohio State.
Running back Archie Griffin.
Howard Hopalong Cassidy.
I'd say Archie Griffin.
I would say Howard.
Two-time Heisman.
I think of Eddie George.
Two-time Heisman.
Depends on your era, I guess.
Yeah.
Archie.
Hey, here's an easy one. Boston College.
Boston College. Yeah, that's right. How about Tulane?
God, I can't name one.
Well, Liljeburg. Liljeburg. He played at
Liljeburg.
Yeah, Liljeburg played at Tulane.
Rice.
Doctor now. Rice. Let's see.
Who was the guy that?
Rice has had a great baseball program. Lance Bergman played there.
Yeah.
Rice was the guy was running for a touchdown when the guy from Alabama came off the sidelines.
Exactly right. Yes, exactly right. He was famous. And his name was
the guy that
Tommy
came
Lewis.
off
Tommy Lewis.
The guy that came off the
Tommy
sidelines
Lewis was the one that made the tackle, but
is more famous than the running back. But I think the running back was.
Yeah, I know it. He was a good player. I can't remember it.
You know, I don't think that guy was going to score. Actually, I saw some film of that play, and it looked like somebody had an angle on him.
You know, Bobby Marlowe played in that game, and you know, he was back when he was growing up, Bobby Marlowe in the high school. I don't know about him as a basketball player or baseball player, but he was just a great football player, and they got his schooling at the Alabama Baptist Children's Home.
He was the orphan boy from Troy.
Oh, that's right. Hey, how many times have I mentioned that Ben Huth, the great columnist for
he's in the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame?
Oh, yeah. And how many times he says, guys, I'll always believe that those guys that you named were great players, but I'll take the orphan boy from Troy any day.
You know, the college
I want to
softball
believe that
starts
they would
today.
pay more money in Canada of all places than
I know it.
NFL
Or he's been
or
a household word.
If he had been in the NFL, he might have been a Hall of Famer.
Oh yeah,
he was drafted by the New York Giants, like number 4 or 5 in the draft, and didn't go.
He dominated the Canadian Football League, Mike. He was a great player, and he would have been a great player in the NFL, easy, no question.
I just can't believe the CFL had that kind of money.
Yeah. One of my favorite players ever, and we're going to go off there in a few minutes, but was Tucker Fredrickson, the great one from Hollywood, Florida, and he was one of my favorite Auburn players.
Let me think about who my favorite Auburn player is. Oh, you know who I like?
Bo Jackson or what?
Yeah, man, the best is Bo Jackson.
Yeah. You reckon how Ware would he wouldn't be as fast as Bo, but I wonder how he would go one-on-one with Bo Jackson. I wonder how
Marcus Ware?
Yeah.
Herschel Walker.
It was Bo and Herschel were about the exact same.
Well, I will tell you this for all you people that need to know: Herschel never lost a race to
Bo Jackson.
Bo Jackson never lost a race.
And Herschel carried the ball a lot more than Bo Jackson
and
did.
in the race, though, they said every time Bo would get out to a big lead, Herschel would catch him.
Wow.
And, Herschel Walker was a great one, but I still.
Well, the fastest guy in the SEC by then was Willie Gault. You know,
he was fast. Yeah, that's right.
Kyle Ingalls, my buddy, played baseball at Auburn a year or two, and he said they're getting ready to get on the bus one time after a game, and Bo Jackson said to one of the teammates, said, "Man, you ever held $1 million in your hands?" And the guy said, "No." He said, "Here, hold this," and he picked up his leg and let him hold his leg.
Oh gosh, oh gosh! I remember when he came to town one day. We had a great left-handed pitcher, and he had struck him out 3 times. Mike, you remember this? And people said, "Oh, they were ragging old Bo," and they said, "Oh, wrong way, Bo," and all this stuff and everything. And he hit a ball that wasn't any higher than 6 or 8 feet, and it just continued to rise. And it went over that scoreboard.
I heard it's the longest home run anybody's ever hit in Troy.
But it was still rolling.
It went dead center almost.
That's right. Yeah.
75 feet.
Yeah. It was about 420, I would say.
I was when I went to the Troy game when you gave me tickets, and that center field fence in Troy is back there, man.
Oh yeah.
And I said, "Has anybody hit it over that dang sucker?" Yeah. They've changed the configuration from when
they changed the bats. The bats don't have the carry they used to.
Yeah, let's go back to wooden bats.
Yeah, I know. Go back to wood bats, right?
Throw away the aluminum.
I've been reading up on Babe Ruth. I bought a magazine about Babe Ruth, and he hit a home run when he was 24. I think he was with the Red Sox then. 568 feet documented. With those wooden bats back then.
One of the last greats, and I'm talking about all-time greats. Willie Mays is still living.
Say Hey Kid.
And the Say Hey Kid. We're going to go with Auburn right now, and we're going to. We hope that everybody enjoyed our show. It's a lot of fun. Of course, brought to you by Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks on the bypass in Troy. Jason Gregory, they've got a giant sale going on right now. You can save money. Believe you me, they'll beat anybody's deal. Anybody's. We'll see you tomorrow, bright and early, for Today in L.A. War Eagle, the Auburn Tigers, getting ready with their new football coach. I know a lot of you Auburn fans are buying tickets right now today to go see the Auburn Tigers play this fall, but also buy Troy tickets. Troy tickets is the best bargain in town. Is a Troy football.
Great home schedule this year.
That's right.
$60.
Go get them, Albie. Go get them, Albie.